This is OverExposed Movie Podcast. Well, hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody watching. Welcome once again to the OverExposed Film Podcast. I am your host, Nathan Clark. The other host, Chandler Bobbitt, will be in this episode. I'm actually recording this because while editing, I happened to delete the intro to our newest episode. Our newest episode's topic is the best films we saw in 2025, and it's really a treat. We actually are using a new camera as well, so there may be some focus issues here and there, but overall it's going to look a lot better. And stick around if you're a fan, because we've got some interesting stuff coming down the pipeline. I'm talking video essays, I'm talking guests, hell, I'm talking maybe some new skits and clips. Hope you enjoy. Without further ado, let's get to the episode.
Okay. Recent watches. We've seen a bit.
I've seen a lot, but I've narrowed it down to just a few.
We've had to trim the fat a bit.
Well, and also because we're doing our tops of 2025, some of those will be recent watches, so I'm just going to skip this for now and bring them up.
Correct. So let me start off with a film that I have been wanting to watch for a while. I don't know. I'll let you weigh in on the status of this director. But that is Erin Brockovich, the Steven Soderbergh film starring Julia Roberts and Albert Finney in her Oscar-winning performance. Won Best Actress for it. And also in Steven Soderbergh's crazy year where he's nominated for Best Picture twice and Best Director twice for this and Traffic.
That's right.
He's nominated for both.
Did Traffic win?
No, none of them won. I think Benicio won supporting for Traffic, and then Julia won Best Actress for Erin Brockovich. But yeah, crazy year. I mean, crazy peak for any director, much less Steven Soderbergh. Such a weird career, such an interesting director.
You said you let me. I mean, I would say Soderbergh is. I mean, he's impressive to say the least. I mean, he just
he's an interesting director. He puts out a lot of work. Yeah, he puts them out. Are they all good? No. But some of them are worth watching. I say they're all worth watching.
I heard a quote from him where he was like, "I'm like the cockroach of Hollywood." Like he's like, if nuclear fallout hit Hollywood and every drug, he's like, I would survive.
That's a very apt quote. Yeah. So, but Erin Brockovich, I feel like this is a big one on his list, especially because of Julia Roberts getting an Oscar for it is a huge deal. Julia Roberts, she was the biggest star on the planet at the time, and not seen as a serious actress, right? She's coming off a Pretty Woman in 1990, Best Friend's Wedding. She's a rom-com girl, but she's A-list. And this is what gave her Oscar. The film, I think, is wonderful. It's, you come in, I know coming in what it's about. It's about a single mother, kind of a white trash single mother, no offense. Yeah. But, she starts working for this law firm. And I guess just to give a bit of context, Albert Finney is the other powerhouse performance in this film. And Albert Finney is the lawyer who initially takes Julia Roberts' case in a car accident and loses. So Julia Roberts, being the strong, independent woman she is, says, "You failed me. Give me a job." So she starts working for Albert Finney. I thought Albert Finney was going to be the bad guy in this movie, right? Because, of course, it's Albert Finney.
But this is a real story.
It is a real story. It's based on a real story, yeah. But no, he begrudgingly accepts her into his firm doing low-level paperwork or whatever, and she kind of uncovers this trail of a local chemical plant dumping into the water and causing people to become ill. So she uncovers this huge conspiracy, and the whole movie is kind of this wonderful back and forth between her and Finney as, she doesn't demand respect up front. The way she approaches things is very brash and not very...
She's breaking the rules of legal etiquette.
Exactly. So it's so much fun to watch their relationship evolve through the movie when Albert Finney is kind of like, oh, she's onto something here. She's smarter than her demeanor would seem. So that relationship kind of blossoming into mutual, because she hates him too because he lost her case.
Yeah.
So that relationship blossoming into mutual respect and then finally like teamwork is really the core of the movie, and it's so good. Acting powerhouse. Soderbergh, he likes to get a little weird with the camera, and he does here at times too. But it is a pretty stripped back, like it's a biopic, so nothing too crazy. But the real juice of it really is those two performances kind of bouncing off of each other. Of this woman, this crass and loud woman coming in, and the first thing that comes to mind when people like this into your life is like, pay them no mind, pay them no respect. And Albert Finney begrudgingly starting to realize, okay, she's onto something. And then, at the end of the movie, they have respect for each other, and it's fantastic. It's not the turn, I didn't know the real life story. So, but you come into a movie with that cast, you expect Albert Finney's the big bad, right? He's going to be putting her down the whole movie, but it's the juice of the movie really is their relationship. The performances are fantastic between the both of them. Obviously, Julia Roberts won an Oscar deservedly for her performance. Albert Finney, I think, was nominated maybe, but it's all about that. It's all about her gaining her respect through her own way. Right, she doesn't follow legal discourse. She's not proper. She's not prim, but she knows something is wrong. She knows there's a wrong at foot, and that they can right it.
What would you compare it? Are there any other movies you've seen? Because I remember, like, we talk about Sideways a lot, and I feel like Sideways was like a movie that came out and everybody talked about it, and this was also sort of.
This is a big movie when it came out in 2000. For sure. I don't know. It's interesting. It's definitely a character study. First and foremost, I feel like it's based around them too, and it's not even that they grow. It's that they really the only way they grow is they come to learn that each style, like, they both work. You know what I'm saying? Like Julia Roberts never becomes more polite. She never stops being brash, and Albert Finney never stops being a stuffy lawyer. But they grow to respect each other and respect each other's intelligence. And I really think that's kind of the juice of the movie, is they have some great quippy back and forth, Okay. And then shout out to Aaron Eckhart, plays her biker boyfriend. Wow. An early Aaron Eckhart role. Yeah, his handlebar mustache and everything. He's great.
Okay, so you really liked this?
Yeah, I did really like it. It's just a good legal thriller. And it's a good character study. Julia Roberts definitely, I think, can be tossed by the wayside by some for being more of a rom-com, more of just a lighter actress, not to be taken as seriously, but she is really good in this performance. So is Albert Finney, obviously, always brings it. And then the chemistry, it's really the chemistry between those two is what fuels the movie, and it's so much fun watching that relationship develop. And
Roberts is such an interesting actress, because it's like she won for this, and it feels like oh, okay, now she's gonna
she's anointed.
But then what became that?
Right.
I mean, and it's funny because you say Soderbergh, and I mean, the other big thing she's in is what, Ocean's 12.
Yes, where she plays herself for that one scene. Yeah. But leading up to it, you got to think.
What is
Pretty Woman? Pretty Woman.
She's a blind spot for me, but I can't think of what now has she been in that's like. And starring best actress winner.
Not a lot. Not a lot.
She's never really
yes, it's an interesting trajectory, because you got to think 1990 is Pretty Woman. Nobody knew who she was, and instantly becomes like the face of Hollywood after that movie. Like, massive success, and she is everywhere. And then it just follows with all these rom-coms: Best Friend's Wedding, Runaway Bride, a lot with pair her with Richard Gere from Pretty Woman again.
But that might be. I mean, I don't know what her interests are, but her brother Eric Roberts is much more of a character actor,
right? Yeah,
and it's funny because it's the Julia Roberts thing. It might be she caught wind with the Pretty Women, and whatnot, and then her agents were just all right, we'll just put her in this, You know what I mean? It's they put her in whatever they thought was going to be.
It's interesting. I don't know. I don't know
what her actual
what is she in past Aaron Brockovich that is of note, and I nothing.
Or if she's an actress, the reason we're lovers of film, I think there's a lot of actors and actresses who actively seek out directors and write.
And I think that was the case.
To know if Julia Roberts was ever like that.
I would have to imagine that's the case here because her 90s, she is the biggest box office star of the 90s, probably unquestionably. And so I think the fact that she would take a Soderbergh movie,
Well,
knowing
because he
Soderbergh's
kind of came
reputation,
with Sex Lies and Videotape. That's like
right?
his first film, right?
Yes,
And it
but
won
that's
Palme
like
d'Or.
but that's like he came up as being like the king of indies.
Mm-hmm.
So and she is the king of the A-list studio movies.
Right.
So I do think it is a swing on her part to kind of take on and this is a huge year for Soderbergh, as we said. He's nominated for Best Actor twice, same year.
Right.
Nominated for Best Picture twice. So I do feel like part of it is she sought out someone more interesting to kind of legitimize her talents. And it works very well. It's a fantastic film. She's wonderful in it.
Cool.
But yeah, that does bring a good question, and I do feel a bit. I wish I knew more of her career post Aaron Brockovich, but that is a really good question. Like, what 2000s movies is she in that like?
That happens. I mean, I heard the same thing.
She's still, but it's like still like it's still Julia Roberts.
Yeah,
like in 2026, like you know who she is. Like, but that's
I heard the same thing, and I think we even talked about this when you talked about Melancholia.
She's Tinkerbell and Hook. That's in the 90s run.
Okay.
But that's not part of your question. So, it does bring up some interesting things. And, did she get that Oscar and say, well, I'm done with these?
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Is sometimes the awards can almost do
damage.
That's what
right,
because Kirsten Dunst, like I said, did Melancholia.
Right.
She didn't do
right,
anything.
Because Julia Roberts is certainly like a lower brow, no offense, but like she's a rom-com star. And so for her to get that Oscar and that legitimization in a film that is very serious and, is about a real life biopic, that is interesting. That kind of like mess with her head and be like, well, what is my star persona? And then, she does reteam with Soderbergh, I think a few times, but most notably in Ocean's 12 with the infamous bit where she plays herself at the airport, which I feel like is often maligned as kind of, one of the points of Hollywood jumping the shark, I guess, right? Yeah. So, but that's interesting. Oh, well, I'll tell you what some of the ones she did in the 2000s. She did like Eat, Pray, Love.
Oh, that's
like
right.
So I think she did kind of like she didn't go back to the rom-com lane because at that point you've got like Kate Hudson and like Sandra Bullock, these new talents coming into the rom-com world. So I think she kind of took on like the mom airport novel space, like Eat, Pray, Love, Under the Tuscan Sun, I believe, right? Like these type of movies. Yes. Okay. Eat, Pray, Love is, I'm almost positive Under the Tuscan Sun is as well.
Okay.
So I think that might have been kind of the lane she switched to, which is makes sense because it's a middle ground, right? It's a little bit more serious than the rom-coms, but it's not, it's not.
Right. Cool.
Super in depth. But yeah, Aaron Brockovich, I would love to see more Soderbergh. His filmography is daunting, to say the least.
Yeah, you're never going to see all.
Makes like a movie a year, and
sometimes more,
Yeah, sometimes more. But he is a fascinating director. He's a director I find very fascinating, but I have yet to find a film by his that I'm like, I love it.
Right.
I like a lot of his movies.
Out of Sight's great.
Out of Sight's great, but like he still is just missing that one movie that I'm like, yep, that is it.
I mean, Sex Lies and Videotape.
I haven't seen Sex Lies and Videotapes, no.
Or there's that other one that is called like King of the
Hill. Yep, yeah. King of the Hill is another one. I mean, he's got a lot. The Magic Mike movies are supposed to be really good.
Contagion,
yeah. But you know what I'm saying. He's a director I really like, but he just doesn't have those movies that I'm like, I love it. So. Yeah.
Well, it is. I mean, not to talk bad about him, but it is almost like the idea of like quantity over quality.
For sure. But there is something very impressive to the way he is able to.
I think a lot of filmmakers don't have the
that is like I've read interviews with him and like that is his juice. Like he's like I want to get out like
as much as I can.
Not even as much, just like like he lives off of that, like the grind, like like he's trying to get him out and trying to get good stuff out.
It's like that guy. He's like idea for a movie. Like he just like
that would be Alan Alda in Crimes and Misdemeanors. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. My first recent watch was actually we were almost before recording this. We were going to go see No Other Choice by Park Chan-wook, and I watched this in preparation for that, and that is Decision to Leave, Park Chan-wook's, I believe, 2023 film. And it's fantastic. It's very good. It's tough. I'll say this. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. We talked a lot about Aaron Brockovich, but
Yeah,
I'm
sorry.
gonna say no. That's great. I like it that you talk about for these. My recent watches. I don't want to say too much, but I will say Decision to Leave is interesting because, and it's kind of like the second recent watch I'll say, where I expect so much from Park Chan-wook because of Old Boy, because of Joint Security Area, for sympathy for Lady Vigilance, sympathy for Mr. Vigilance. That when you see something like this, which is fantastic, like it is a great movie. Like I would give it 4 out of 5. I guess I just am like, wow, like, I almost expect more. Something to be said, and I wish I could remember the name. Park Chan-wook's editor. His editor is like on the cutting edge, and I've seen reviews for No Other Choice talking about that as well. Decision to Leave, the editing is like absurd. Like sometimes it's like so remarkable, and then other times it's like I said, cutting edge. It's like too cutting edge to where I'm like, oh my god, it's ridiculous. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yes. Sorry, I'm trying to give this gentleman his flowers.
Okay, so it's
Continue.
2022.
Yes.
It's 2022. But the film itself, I guess I'll give you a brief synopsis. The film itself is about a police officer. He's a detective, and he is he's investigating a murder that happens. And the person who is responsible for the murder is Chinese.
Kim Song-byam is the editor.
And he's
edited Old Boy. Yep, yeah, No Other Choice. Yes, he's his go-to editor.
And he's like,
give him his flowers.
That's what I was gonna say. Because some of the Park Chan, what people might say is like, oh, that's the Park Chan-wook style. It's like the editor.
The editor, yeah. Editors do so much, yes. And that is Kim Song-byam.
And you can see it from, like I said, Old Boy. There's shots with the clock in Old Boy, like a transition takes place. And then in Joint Security Area, some of the transitions. And then the transitions in this movie are like I said, cutting edge. Like they're like unbelievable. But some of them are like they're too like I'm rolling my eyes at them. Like I'm like, oh my god, it's ridiculous. But it's cool to see somebody doing that. The other thing I'll say about Decision to Leave. Well, I didn't even finish what I was saying. Okay, it's about a detective. He's investigating a murder. The person who's the prime suspect is this woman. She's Chinese. It's a Korean town. Mm-hmm. They're wary of the Chinese lady. And he sort of falls in love with her. But he finds out pretty well. I'm not gonna say anything else. I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil. I mean, you should watch this.
All right, I will.
But that's like what I would if I was gonna spoil anything, it wouldn't even spoil anything because it's like this movie is like there's like 3 huge things that happen that change the trajectory. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same with Joint Security. Like I want you to watch, which I'll get to later, but.
I mean, I can kind of see that in
his films.
Old Boy, I can kind of get that. Like there is like multiple climaxes. Yes, like
Old Boy is like, what do you tell somebody about Old Boy?
Right.
Like, oh, it's a man seeking revenge.
That's in the most basic sense. Yes.
But if you tell them more, then it's like I'm kind of ruining the. You want to go in blind.
Right. But I get what you mean about like there are multiple
things happen that keep the story alive very much. But what's really cool about this film too, and I think it's so impressive. And this is what I've seen again and again with No Other Choice as well, which I know we haven't seen yet. But Park Chan-wook is like kind of like Soderbergh. It's kind of funny we're talking about him. He's like very much on like modern times. Like this movie, Decision to Leave, utilizes smartwatches. Like it utilizes like in-car audio. Like it's like he's not afraid to incorporate like
which is great
digital age into his films, and he does so in a very it's a way that's not like oppressive. Like you're not watching, you're like, oh my god, like another fucking.
A lot of older filmmakers are like a lot of, and he's not older. I mean, but he's been around since what 90s, the 90s. Yeah. So like, it is a challenge to try to incorporate like how much technology. And I think, the technology we have in our lives and day to day does innately dull storytelling potential with like.
But with Decision to Leave, he's an investigator.
Right.
So much of like his notes or like how things are recorded, it's like all in.
So that's really interesting, and I really want to watch it because I heard a take recently on another podcast about how kind of the death of the procedurals is with our new technology now. Yeah. Like picture like the 80s, 90s procedurals like Pelican Brief, Julia Roberts. It's like you're sitting at a computer, you're printing out papers, like that's all cinematic. Now it's just like click, 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 click.
But so sometimes I think it takes an Impossible, so it probably works better.
Yes, like, but that is also like in a fantasy world. Yeah. It's but so I just say that to compliment Park Chan-wook in being able to adapt to modern times. Absolutely. And still create that tension that you get from those like
it's just
those type of films.
Beautifully shot.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. There's scenes where he's driving in the snow, so you're seeing through like a nice car, and snow's coming down. There's an editing transition where there's a woman's hand closing and the guy walking on the beach, and I was like, that's just like it's just like masterful.
Yeah.
Like truly, the editor is, and like I said, I mean, what would I say? He aims for the fences. Like he's trying to hit home runs, and sometimes he does, and other times I'm like, wow. And
you appreciate the effort.
Yes, I'd like to watch it again, but it'd be interesting. That's why I want to see more of the new Park Chan-wook stuff because I'd be curious to see how it goes. So yeah, that's my opinion on Decision Noise.
I'm gonna blow through one real quick because I don't have a ton to say. I watched Pat Garrett, Billy the Kid, Sam Peckinpah in 1973. I don't know if I love Sam Peckinpah. He seems to be a guy that's so much up my alley. Like, seems like he would be my guy.
Right.
Just has never fully clicked with me.
Have you seen the Wild Bunch?
I'm not Wild Bunch.
That's
my blind spot.
I love the Wild. I think you like the Wild Bunch.
That is my blind spot. So I can't. I should not speak fully on Sam Peckinpah, but I've seen the sentiment shared with other people of like this guy. You come in being like, oh, this is going to be my guy,
for sure.
And then it's like, yeah, he's good. Like,
no, can I just say, you and I when we watched,
we didn't like Straw Dogs. We didn't like Straw Dogs. No. But I like. I do like Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. That's fine.
But I agree with you on that.
But it's like that's one that like you go into thinking like, oh, this is going to be a new top 10.
Cool.
This is going to be a new top 10.
Awesome. Yeah. And then you watch it, you're like, yeah, it was good.
And same with this one. I'm like, yeah, it's good. It's violent. I mean, probably best known for the Bob Dylan soundtrack. Obviously, the song, like Bob Dylan's most famous song is from this movie. What is it? Knocking on Heaven's Door.
Oh, okay. When you say his most famous song, I was like,
well, when I looked it up on Spotify, it was his most popular song. Was "Knocking on Heaven's Door" from the soundtrack. He's also in the movie. Feels extremely out of place as like this nebbishy kind of like
weird guy,
kind of like Jewish guy in like 1800s Wild West. It's James Coburn, Chris Christopherson. James Coburn always.
See, I love Chris Christopherson.
Chris Christopherson's great. I mean, it's cool.
I'll probably watch it.
It's cool. Yeah.
I'll give it a watch.
So I'm just gonna gloss over that one and get to the next one that I really am passionate about. And that is Sidney Lumet's 1982 film, The Verdict, masterpiece. Very famous film, very well known, starring Paul Newman. Probably should have won him his Oscar, and I think a lot of people believe that's why he got it for The Color of Money a few years later.
Yeah.
Ben Kingsley actually got the Oscar this year for Gandhi. Yeah, but I think.
I wonder how people think about that now.
I will tell you, they think he should have won for The Verdict.
But I mean, Ben Kingsley, are they like, ooh, that was a bad give, or do people like?
He's kind of ethnic. I don't know. Like,
yeah, I guess.
But it's like Gandhi's like boring. Like,
I have no interest in watching.
Exactly. Like it's so it's such an Oscar movie.
But I will say this: when we were like, I watched The Verdict. My initial thought was like, I don't really have interest in watching The Verdict. But now that you love it,
classic. It's a classic. I mean, it's legal procedurals done to the highest degree. I mean, it's old people arguing. James Mason is the main what would I say, defense attorney. So it's a battle of wits. Paul Newman is kind of this alcoholic ambulance chaser, as they say. Literally, the movie begins with him showing up to a funeral and passing out his business card to the bereaved family and getting kicked out of the funeral home.
Man,
because like that's how low it's gotten for him. Is he's truly chasing ambulances. Like he's like, I can help your family, and they're like, you didn't know him, get out of here.
Yeah.
And so it's very Paul Newman obviously is fantastic. Jack Warden, another great character actor we love, 80s, 70s, is in there. Just an all-around great movie. Script by David Mamet, who I think works best with Sidney Lumet. Sidney Lumet is a director who has made some of the greatest movies of all time and has 30 other films that nobody has ever heard about.
But I've heard some of those are sleepers.
They might be. The same year he made The Verdict, he made a movie called Death Trap with Christopher Reeves and Michael Caine. That's supposed to be pretty good. But he's not flashy. He does seem to be a guy that's best suited to like bringing to giving more to the source material, right? Because like I know I've seen a lot of David Mamet movies, and I don't think I like David Mamet. His his movies read like he is filming a play.
Yeah, he's just
and there's no pizzazz, and it's like, yeah, that's great. You can write all this dialogue, but when if we're in a movie, like dust it up a little bit.
And I would say, I think you and I both are people who, like, I mean, I was just, waxing poetic about an editor. So I think you and I are both more like, I mean, the reason we have a film podcast is we like film. And I think Mamet, there's nothing wrong with somebody like Mamet, but I agree.
Well, he's gone off the rails a little bit recently. If you haven't heard, he's kind of like a right wing. But regardless, we're not talking about personal life. We're talking about his style. Yeah,
to play like
he is.
If you like quippy dialogue, there's nothing wrong.
But I don't even like his quippy dialogue though. Okay. It's like, I don't know. The Verdict, it's great. It's The Verdict is the best application of what Mamet does best, and that is just like, it's like what I like about.
You know what I compare it to? Mamet and Lumet, and then it's like Scorsese and
Schrader.
Yeah.
Because like Schrader, but I like Schrader's movies infinitely more than I like David.
First Reformed.
But then you watch all the Schrader movies, and they're all kind of getting at the same point, and they're all kind of missing that.
It's about a guy who's like on. Like,
it really makes you realize Taxi Driver is both of their geniuses merging. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Because it's like Scorsese obviously is a master. Schrader has done great work outside of Taxi Driver, but you really see like with a good director his stuff, and it's the same with this. Yes.
Yeah.
But it's a legal procedural, but it's never been more riveting. It's fantastic. Awesome. Incredible performances. Yeah. And then speaking of Scorsese, not to take over, but I'll just jump real quick into the next one. I watched Mean Streets, Scorsese's second film, behind Who's That Knocking at Your Door, which was a low budget.
What about Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore?
That came after this.
Oh, okay.
So it's his first. I don't want to say first real film, but it's his breakthrough film, right? Stars Harvey Keitel as a devoutly Catholic man who is simultaneously dealing with a relationship that is frowned upon. He is being kind of ushered into the upper echelons of the mob, and then he has to deal with his best friend, Robert De Niro, who is a shithead and who the mob is actively wanting to kill. And so it's a good premise.
Sort of a Mikey and Nicky.
Right. Yeah. So it's kind of like Harvey Keitel balancing all these forces within his life. De Niro is obviously great, but do not get mistaken by anything you've seen. If you haven't seen the film, it is a Harvey Keitel film, and De Niro is the crazy friend, which I did not know which is not a knock on anything. It makes it better. It makes it better, but it is funny. It is funny that like the crazy guy is the one that blows up out of that movie, and not like the lead, right?
Yeah. Do you think there's like flashes of greatness there, or do you think like you're like, Scorsese's still sort of like?
No, there are flashes of greatness. Oh my God, yes. There's a scene where Harvey Keitel like finally kind of gets a weight off his shoulder and gets really drunk, and they strap like this handheld cam onto him, and it's just him stumbling around the bar like drinking, and it's so good. I know that doesn't sound
that sounds,
but crazy. Like, yeah, when you watch it, you're like, damn, this is crazy. And then there's another scene too where like it's a bar fight, and Scorsese just holds and drags the camera all around the bar. It's like De Niro is just like battling these guys out, and like, yeah. So there are flashes of brilliance for sure. But it's, Scorsese's done a lot of work, and he's done a lot of masterpieces, and I would put this solidly in his second tier.
Okay.
Which is still a high compliment, for a director such as that. Like, yes, it's a good, it's a very good movie. Mm-hmm.
All right, this will be a quick one. This is another movie where I guess because I expected so much from the director, the Decision to Leave. I was not let down. Decision to Leave is great. This movie I did not like very much, and that is Michael Haneke's first feature film, The Seventh Continent.
What year did that come out?
I want to say it came out in 97? No, earlier.
No, because Funny Games is 97.
It must be like 80s.
I was thinking 80s. Yeah, I was thinking like early 80s.
Look it up.
Yeah.
Can you also look? Well, I'm gonna ask you to look up the next one because I don't know the filmmaker for this next one. But anyways, I'll just rattle off because I don't have much to say about this movie. You know what? It's not a fun watch. Which Michael Haneke's not supposed to be a fun watch.
It's 89.
89. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I mean, it's certainly well made. Like it is, like it's his style. Like he holds on things for a long time. And I think that's the purpose of this film, sort of the mundanity of life and the new modern norm with technology, sort of like making this family kind of go crazy. You check on the dog? No. Okay. And it's sort of dull to watch, but I think that's the point of it. It's supposed to be harsh, banal, exactly, because that is the banality that drives them crazy. It's a family who decides together that they're going to commit suicide, but because they're so controlled by their own routines, they have to do it routinely. Like there's a line where the guy's like, "We have to do this like systematically." So they go in and they like destroy every facet of their house. They flush all the money down the toilet. And watching the film was fine. There's some cool shots in it, but I think that idea is really interesting. But I think it would have worked way better as like a short story. Like almost, I said to my dad because he's a big fan of David Foster Wallace. I was like, this seems like a story I'd read in like Brief Interviews with Hideous Men or something like that. That being said, I watched